Sunday for the Giants. Huge win out on the road. I'm Brandon London here, along with longtime media and sports columnist Mark Cannizzaro. We're going to break down the Giants' huge road win against the Seattle Seahawks. I'm here at the Brooklyn Public House in Brooklyn. The crowd is rowdy, setting the scene. A lot of Giants fans. Mark, they'll quiet down in a little bit, Mark. Excuse our rowdy friends. But let's get your thoughts, man. Huge
never
win.
have us a rowdy.
Not too much. Huge win, Mark. Give us your thoughts on the game, man. Let's talk.
Brandon, there's so many thoughts here. There's so many positive things that went on today. And I tell you, it's interesting because had they lost that lead late, you would have been wondering, like, all these things the Giants did so well today, all for naught, until obviously Isaiah Simmons blocks that field goal. But you had so many things happen tonight. For starters, Daniel Jones is playing incredibly good football. I mean, listen, I'm guilty as charged. After the loss to Minnesota, I thought if we had one more bad game the following week, the table had to consider benching him. And this guy has played incredibly good football for 4 straight games. He's got 6 touchdowns, 1 interception in the last 4 games. Today, he controlled the game. I thought that first drive, Brandon, even though it ended in calamity, obviously with a great fumble, was such a tone-setting drive. And listen, that Seattle defense, you have to remember, they got gashed last week by Detroit. So, Brian Daboll did an outstanding job, I thought, exploiting that defense, particularly on the perimeter, on the edges. They were killing them all day on the perimeter. And they just, they kept going to it. And you had so many, a handful of guys had signature Giant moments today. I mean, Simmons really, we've always wondered since they brought him in here, he was going to be a great fit in the Wink Martindale defense, right? But it never really panned out that way. This was his signature moment, right? Brian Burns with that late sack on the 4th down. That's his signature Giant moment so far today. I mean, this kid Tyrone Tracy comes in. We're worried about no Malik, no Singletary. You didn't miss those guys today. I mean, these guys, their backups, their replacements came in and played as well, if not better.
Yeah, when you talk about not having your star wide receiver and your RB1, this is a game where you have to give Daboll your props, and you've already done that. We've been critical on him for some of the decisions he's made and all, but this is why you bring a Brian Daboll in, because he knows how to control a game. He knows how to call a game, and this is what he did today. I mean, let's just go back to Daniel Jones, man. I'm going to break these numbers down. 23 for 34, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, but most importantly, Mark, 0 turnovers. He did not turn the ball over again. Like, even the last game against the Cowboys, they still had a chance. He had the interception, but that was on a Hail Mary. So Daniel Jones continues to be efficient. And what I've been calling for as a former, New York Giant wide receiver is the down the field passes. Yeah. And who does he hook up with? Who does he go to? Darius Slayton.
The guy that's been there all along, right?
He's been there all along. So it's like, when you look at a lot of the narrative and a lot of the stories when we talk about the New York Giants, like, you want to go with the sexy story, Malik Nabers. You want to go with the sexy story and who's going to replace Saquon. So all eyes have been on that. But you've got guys that have been in this offense. You've got guys that have played well within this offense, like a Darius Slayton. That's like, hey, I'm waiting for my time to shine. I'm waiting for my time to get a look. Wan'Dale Robinson had a good, not great game. I still want to clean up the drops when it comes to the wide receivers. Slayton as well, like Plaxico Burress would say, catch the damn ball, catch the ball. But at the end of the day, offensively, guys made plays, and that's what you needed.
Listen, when you think about it, Brandon, when we were at training camp, not this year but last year, Darius Slayton was on the bubble to make the team.
Yeah.
I mean, they end up keeping him. I think he ended up taking a pay cut. He's always been one of the quality guys in that room. He's the longest tenured Giant in there now that Saquon's gone. And I mean, listen, I can't say enough good things about Slayton. He's a stand-up guy. When he doesn't do well, or he's the first guy in there. Yeah, I can't say enough about him. I was happy for him today. I was a little worried when he took that hit because he had a concussion earlier in the year. He made that really, really good third down catch and got clobbered. And yeah, that was a scary moment because I was worried that he might have gotten shaken up.
If you guys are watching this, I'm sorry,
right
Mark.
I have to plug in. I'm seeing a low battery in my computer. Just stay there.
Okay.
Plug in. All right.
All right, I'll keep this thing going. If you guys are watching, thanks for watching. This is your New York Post Sports post-game live stream. New York Giants 29-20 road win, huge road win against what was the 3-1 Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL going into this game. He was hot. Giants defense got after him. Pass rush. I give it a B plus. Take it easy. I give it a B plus in terms of the pass rush. But let's go back to the offense. I want to stay on the offense.
Because Brandon, you've lost your audio.
All right, Mark, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
so to go to the run game and Tyrone Tracy Jr. Let me give you his numbers. Let me give you guys his numbers right now. 18 carries, 129 yards. When we spoke to him in the locker room on Wednesday, and we were talking about, all right, this could be your opportunity. This could be your shot. If you go back to that interview, Mark, he talked about ball security. He talked about taking care of the football. About 4 or 5 times within a 2 minute 30 second interview. And that means that's something that's been talked about within this Giants offense in this run game when it comes to Motor Singletary, who's had good, not great games.
And Gray has had some ball security issues, and I understand.
Saw it today.
Yeah, and he was. Listen, I understand he's trying to move the ball over the end zone and break the plane, but
can't happen.
I mean, that play could have ruined the Giants today. You go to 10-minute drive, and it's all of a sudden you down 7-0. I love the way the team just kind of came right back. Next drive, DJ brings them right down. Listen. I can't. Let's go, Blue, baby! It's kind of a well-coached football team, Brandon. I know that Dayball's gotten some heat. I think quite a bit unfairly. Maybe you should have gone for that 4th and 2 a week or so ago, right? I get that. Okay, that's a gut decision that Dayball makes. Probably wasn't the right decision at the moment. Maybe he wants it back. But if you look at the bigger picture here, this is a really well-coached football team. It really is. And I thought today. The fact that, the Giants they've gotten their butts kicked in Seattle, and that's a difficult place to play. And that's a team that was 3-1, coming off a loss last week, its first loss. And the Giants, they didn't blink after that, after the fumble. But I pulled you off of Tyrone Tracy a little bit. The way he's going right now, I don't know what Singletary's status is going to be in a week. But, this guy's earned more. He's earned more touches.
Absolutely. He's a kid that's been confident. You can even see that they had confidence in him within training camp because you can see the different packages that they were creating for him, having both he and Motor Singletary on the field at the same time. So they saw something in him early. And again, talking to the kid, I just did a Giants Play 60 with him up in like T-Neck or something at a middle school. He has confidence, man. He has so much confidence when it comes to his ability. And it's not like one of those rookie arrogance, or it's like how a rookie comes in and it's like, all right, I'm not going to spell or be a backup to Saquon. Yeah. I'm being a backup to Motor Singletary. I can take that job. I'm going to walk around with my chest out. He's a guy who's always talking about learning the offense, learning the X's, the O's, and the Y's, and being able to be there when it came his opportunity. So this rookie class, when you go to the Tyler Nubins, who's made plays, Drew Phillips, who before he got hurt, he was probably having the best defensive season throughout the entire defense. Theo Johnson, who we got a chance to see baby Gronk make some plays today. This rookie class is really stepping up and making plays in when they're being called on. Yeah. So again, you said like it's a great coaching day. This is a well-coached team, but you also got guys stepping up who None of these guys are on anybody's fantasy roster today.
No,
Team isn't
no.
sexy at all, but they still found a way to get it done and get a big road win against what was a 3-1 team.
I mean, this is a league of opportunity, as you know, Brandon, and Brian Daboll is going to play the hot hand. I don't know. Again, I don't know what Singletary status is with the hamstring, and I think this is his first game he's missed since his rookie year. So he's been a very durable guy, but if Brian Daboll thinks that Tyrone Tracy is going to give them a better chance to succeed offensively, Tracy's going to be playing. This is nothing against Singletary, but and I'm sure even if Singletary is able to come back for the next game, maybe he's not 100% yet. But listen. What I loved about what I watched today, I did mention the way the Giants kind of got off the mat and didn't blink after the fumble recovery touchdown. But when you watch like a game like today, you could see the Daboll offensive plan start to unfold early, right? Attacking the perimeter. I don't want to. I'm assuming it's going to sound like I'm knocking Robert Saleh on the Jets side, which I'm not, but I do think this is a better coached football team than the Jets are. I'm going to be honest with that. I don't know that I saw that unfold as I watched the Jet game today. A coaching plan. I'm not sure what the plan was. I could see Daboll's plan today. And Kafka and everybody that put the offensive, strategy together, and it was working, and they kept going to it. And Seattle didn't have an answer. And I think that's listen. I think that's very impressive. This is a win that, not to get overly dramatic, it's week 5, but the Giants have tossed a couple of games away that you could certainly argue they should have won. And this is to go into Seattle against a 3-1 team that's had success, that has a hot quarterback, and to do what they did today can really, really catapult the season. I mean, it can really kind of spark maybe a run here. I don't know how this doesn't breed confidence for all those young guys you just mentioned. I mean, that's all those guys, Johnson, Tracy, they all gain confidence. I'm going to throw it to the defense for a quick second.
Go ahead. Let's talk defense.
You got to shout out Deontay Banks now, okay? That guy basically dogged it on that CeeDee Lamb touchdown catch, right, in the Dallas game. And he was spoken to, by Daboll and the coaches this week. That guy played his ass off today. I mean, he had the forced fumble on Metcalf. He did a great job on Metcalf. And he had 3 pass defenses. I mean, he probably played his best game as a pro today.
Let's talk defense, Mark, because I got some numbers for you. And the fans listening at home, let's go even deeper. Let's go into the numbers on this one. We're talking about the Seahawks pass game, Geno Smith, and then the trio wide receivers that he had. Going into this game, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, and Tyler Lockett, they averaged around 199.5 yards per game between the trio, 200 yards per game. Let's look at it now. This game, Tyler Lockett, 4 for 75. DK Metcalf, 4 for 55, but he also had the fumble. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 4 for 31 with 1 touchdown. Kenneth Walker III, Mark, was their leading receiver with 7.
Yeah.
So what that means is that Shane Bowen, which we saw blitzing, we saw him dial up pressure at times like he did against Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. But they stayed in somewhat of a base conservative defense in terms of applying pressure, rush 4, rush 3, and then drop 8 to 7. And just had guys' eyes, play off the eyes. And you saw the defense. Cordell Flott was another guy who was around the ball a lot when it came to the pass games. You saw guys rally to the ball. And I think one thing we saw this game that we haven't, I guess, seen in other games was we saw good tackling.
Yeah.
There were tackles. When there were tackles at the line of scrimmage, 1 to 2 yards on first or second down. You talk about where Geno Smith had to throw.
Talk about the young guys. Let's throw Newman in there now. He had a really good game today. Listen, I agree with you. And those numbers you just tossed out for some of those receivers, including Lockett, who's a tremendous talent.
Tremendous.
Those are a little bit bloated now because a lot of that stuff came in that 95-yard drive, which wasn't garbage time. And I didn't like the way the Giants played defense on that drive. And that was back. It was a very prevent-oriented defense. Wasn't happy with. I didn't like that look. I mean, you got to. I get it that you don't want to get burned on the big play, but you got to do what got you there. You had a 10-point lead because of the way you played defense up to that point. And I didn't like how soft they played in the back end on that last drive. But, back to those numbers you just, tossed out. Metcalf I think, a decently long catch. Lockett had a couple of them on that series. That's a 95-yard drive, virtually all in the air. So those numbers were much less prior to that last drive, obviously.
Yeah. If you guys are joining us, we got, about another 10 minutes left on this live stream. It's your New York Post Sports post-game live stream. The Giants go on the road, win in Seattle at Lumen Field, 29-20. Big Blue. This crowd was absolutely, I guess, they were raucous the entire time, Mark. And here's the thing, you saw moments where it's like, oh no, not this Giants team. Don't tell me you're sure. Don't tell me I had to come all the way out to Brooklyn, and this is that Giants team that showed up. But at the same time, they found a way to get it done today. And we got Evo X asking, "What's up with Hyatt? Why isn't he getting the ball?" It's hard. It's hard right now as a receiver. If you're Jalen Hyatt, you're in the locker room. You're happy but at the same time, you're like, I wish I could have been involved more in this win. And that's not going to be something to be selfish, Mark. These are the times, these are the moments where you come together as a team. You see the Giants, their 2 wins have been on the road. They got to prove something at home. But what they've done, it's almost like going on the road is good for them because it's like they band together. You get that extra team time. You're hanging out in somebody's hotel room. They're FaceTiming their family or whatever. You're just sitting there playing, Madden or something, or you guys are going over the game plan for a little bit longer. But it's something about being on the road that just bands this team together. So if you're a Jalen Hyatt, to answer your question, EVO X, why isn't he getting the ball? You can look at this offense and it's like, why aren't a lot of other guys getting the ball as well? It took Malik Neighbors being down for Darius Slayton to get the ball, and it's just like you kind of have to just be okay with it because that's the way the offense goes. When Malik Neighbors gets back, he's going to get back to double-digit targets, but that's the way the offense goes. But it was great for Theo Jefferson to get four catches, a couple catches on the day, for Darius Slayton to get 8 catches on the day, because now when you're Mike Kafka and you're Brian Dable, you can use the Malik Neighbors as a decoy now going back, because now you have confidence in other guys to make plays.
Yeah, listen, I don't know what the answer is with Hyatt. I don't know if he's doing a good enough job to get open. If he's a great route runner, which I don't think he is yet. I do think that he did take some attention away down the field today. There's no question about it. It's progressions. It just didn't go to him. We know that Wandell is a down guy, come out of the slot. And, which you brought up in the opening, we all wondered where the deep ball is. And, Slayton got that today. I don't know what I don't have a proper answer for Evo X as to exactly why Jalen's not getting the ball. But I don't think as a Giant fan you really give a crap about that at the moment right now.
Not right now. Not right. Even as a receiver, not right now. Not right now. You can go home, you can talk to your girlfriend, be like, I wish I could do it. I wish I could have done more, been a part of it. But you're happy for Darius Slayton, who, if you're in that receiver room, that's the big homie. That's again, like you said, that's the longest tenured Giant. So
Brandon, if they keep playing like this, and the offense performs the way it was today, Jalen Hyatt's he's gonna see the ball. There's gonna be stuff open up for Jalen Hyatt. We're only 5 games into the year. Obviously, Neighbors has become the guy, so he's getting double-digit targets. But listen, he'll get his chance.
Yeah. And as long as these receivers, again, Evo X actually talking about the receivers dropped a lot of balls today. It's been like that the entire year, Mark. That's something that's got to be cleaned up going forward, because now you got the Bengals coming in, you got the Eagles coming in. the attention to detail has to be finite. Like
Yeah.
you have to lock in even more when it comes to especially easy drops like that. So guys fighting for balls, you're fighting for targets. You got to absolutely catch everything. I guess we can answer this last one. How did the Giants recover from the opening drive? Mark, are you seeing something different from this team this year as opposed to the Giants team that when Daniel Jones threw the pick six against the Seahawks last year at home, they couldn't recover that game? Is there something different in the Gatorade this year?
I think there's just a little more confidence right now, and even though Neighbors wasn't on the field today, I mean, Neighbors, that kind of talent automatically gives you some confidence. And I think the Giants have seen some good offensive play out from themselves in the last 4 weeks. Now, that even in the they've kicked too many field goals, right? I get that.
Yes.
By the way, Joseph's 8 of his last 8. Remember that? That looked like that was going to be a disaster, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he was 5 for 5 last week, 3 for 3 today. I don't know how long it's going to be before Gano is back, but
Regardless, he's kicked himself into a job, regardless of what
absolutely.
happens with the
I
Gano
mean,
situation.
the funny thing is that after he missed his first one, everybody was asking Brian, hey, is he going to be the guy again? Dayball does not want to have a turnstile of kickers. That's the worst thing you want. So good for him to have stuck with him, and now that's kind of worked out. But I just think you're getting back to your question. I think you're seeing a more confident Daniel Jones. Another year with Dayball, and I do also believe that Dayball, calling the plays is a big deal. And this is nothing against Kafka, but that's what Brian does best. And if you can still manage the entire team and still be the play caller, which right now looks like it's working fine, then you should do it. You should play to your strengths, and Dayball's playing to his strengths, and I think that's helped Daniel.
Yeah, I talked to a couple of the guys. Mike Kafka still has a pretty legitimate say when it comes to the install and the offense. And you need two heads working together, especially like you're saying, because my father's a head football coach. I know it's college, but I ask him all the time, like what's your day like? And he talks about it. He's like, do you understand how much stuff I deal with outside of football? So just Brian Daboll having to do press, interviews, whatever it is, being a part of defensive game plan, offensive game plan, because at the end of the day, it's on you. You're the leader. You're the one everyone looks up to. So big game for him. Big game for Brian Daboll. Big game for Giants pass rush. Shane Bowen. Just an overall win against a quality team. So again, like you said, not just the young guys. Young guys can walk around, puffy chest for 24 hours, but just the team as a collective as all. So
Brandon, wins like this win on the road against a good team galvanize a team.
Absolutely.
They're on the plane right now.
Yep.
And that's a pretty happy plane ride coming back to the East Coast right now. And that you reference being on the road and the bonding and whatnot. If nothing bonds a team better or more strongly than what they just did today. And I'll be shocked if we don't see a more consistent and better Giant team going forward. And I think this will have a big part to that.
Well, let's end that there, Mark. Big one. I wish I could have gave you guys a lot more energy. Everyone's kind of leaving here to go home. Everyone get home safe. This was your Blue Rush post-game live stream. Brandon London, Mark Cannizzaro. Giants 29-20 road win on the road against Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. They come back to MetLife Stadium Sunday night, prime time football. So there's going to be storylines going into this one, Mark, when they play against the Joe Burrow and the Bengals, who lost today against the Baltimore Ravens. For New York Post Sports, thank you guys for watching.